You have the floor, ma'am.
Excellencies, esteemed guests, Mr. Moderator, thank you for this opportunity. This year marks a momentous occasion, providing a huge opportunity to carve out the development path for the next 15 years. The aspirations of the entire world population demand that the process leaves no one behind, requiring sustainability to be at the core of a just, equitable, and inclusive, people-oriented, rights-based development approach. I speak on behalf of CECOEDECON and represent the voices of women farmers of India and other developing countries with specific focus on those relying on meager means of subsistence. I would like to begin with a brief background and then move on to some specific recommendations. By women farmers, I refer to the integrated role rural women play while interacting with their surroundings and nature, thus shaping their day-to-day lives and affecting local traditions, social beliefs, and practices. They are thus central to the integration of the three pillars of sustainable development. Although the reciprocal relationship these women share with the environment is quite apparent in the rural setting, their contributions go largely unrecognized. While women play the key role in managing the natural resources in a household, they are mostly left out of the decisions regarding the same. They're responsible for 70 to 80% of the agriculture work, single-handedly manage the livestock, hold the sole load of domestic food production, and for fulfilling nutritional requirements of the family. They also carry the burden of collecting and managing water and means of energy for the household with almost no support from their male counterparts. In addition, the load of domestic and care work also lies on women for which they get no financial returns. Factors affecting environment have severe manifestations on their lives, different in nature from their effects on men, and relatively more severe. The threat of climate change, as is becoming more and more visible from the increasing local and more widespread incidences of climate unpredictability, as seen in the past year in Rajasthan, the desert state of India, in the form of localized flash floods and droughts episodes, is likely to increase the plight of women farmers further, making them more vulnerable. These imposed roles demand all their time and energy. The many multifaceted, complicated, and interconnected factors, including the control over productive resources, skills, lack of availability of and access to technology and credit, and low resilience to risks and shocks affect their livelihood, health, and their social relationships, resulting in a huge opportunity cost for them. Although giving gender equality and women and girls empowerment precedence in the SDGs as standalone goal 5 is a huge step forward towards inclusive development, but the lack of incorporation of a strong understanding of the roles and specific needs of women, distinct from those of men, is a major loophole that needs to be plugged to achieve the development envisaged at the end of 2030. For instance, there is no mention of the redistribution of domestic and care work in the targets. Women's recognition as farmers is another crucial missing element. I would like to recommend that indicators look beyond statistical analysis and be substantiated with qualitative effects of context-specific underlying aspects, with increasing focus on capacities. Indicators should be developed based on the holistic understanding of women's poverty that looks at all the hidden factors and recognizes the human rights of women. Since women are our major food providers, food security indicators will have to include their needs and aspirations. Indicators should be flexible, subject to revision based on periodic review, and sensitive to individual country capacities. Effective implementation requires strong and binding commitments and ownership on the part of the government and political will to direct adequate funds for addressing gender issues. The participation of CSOs in the country-level planning and implementation is of extreme importance, as they are key to grassroots and mobilization. For effective monitoring of implementation, The indicators should focus on the assessment of not just progress and the associated rate, but also the extent to which the inequalities and structural causes have been reduced. Strengthening data collection, use, analysis, and sharing requires, first, periodic collaborative dialogue at different levels to identify meaningful data, their sources, and assessment measures. Second, disaggregation of data by sex, age, indigenous groups, and other vulnerable communities, including nomads and other de-notified tribes. A robust, accountable, and transparent institutional mechanism sensitive to women issues is key for implementation of planning, monitoring, and data collection management. Supporting the institutional framework by collaborating with other stakeholders, especially civil society, for maximizing data sources with wider reach is also very important. The effectiveness of the goals calls for a strong collaborative process of implementation, monitoring of implementation, and review at the national level for planning and gap analysis, regional level for exchange of learning, and at the global level for effective partnerships and a global review mechanism like the UPR of human rights. Women need to be considered in all these integrated processes so that weakness of measuring progress in the MDGs can be done away with. It is high time that we stop treating women as passive subjects. We need to realize and recognize their immense potential as agents of change and development, and internalize their role and our responsibilities towards them as a cross-cutting aspect for all the goals. They are not the problem, they are the solution. The post-2015 development agenda cannot afford to ignore the large pool of resources they provide. I would like to end with a quote by Gandhi. To call women by the weaker sex is a libel, man's injustice to women. If by strength is meant brute strength, then indeed is woman less brute than man? If by strength is meant moral power, then woman is immeasurably man's superior. Has she not greater intuition? Is she not more self-sacrificing? Has she not greater powers of endurance? Has she not more courage? Without her, man cannot be. Thank you.